half a million or half a million, $1 million worth of coverage. So, Greg, I'll just let you take it over from here and do your thing, brother.
Very cool. Well, hey, thanks a lot for the time. Appreciate you guys giving Carrie Repplinger is my counterpart as well, and I might have him actually do some of the demo. I did make Claudia the host, so if she wants to make him the host, I don't know if you wanted to have that work that way, but just a real quick intro. Was it Cameron or Cam? I didn't know which one you went by, but you're speaking our vernacular. So basically everything that you just said, we can kind of hit upon on the final expense and the other processes that we do as well. If you don't retain much from this call, I would say retain one thing. And what the one thing is with one stop, one process, you guys are going to see right now you have an access to final expense, an access to term policies, and you're also going to see a little precursor. It's going to be happening in 60 days to an IUL that goes to $1 million, all predicated on instant issue. So when you're watching this platform and you're following the process, it's the same every freaking time. So basically, you're going to learn one process, be proficient for all those carriers, all those products, into some of the reservations you were having with the signing and things with DocuSign, how that's cumbersome. We did away with that. So basically, it makes it a little bit easier for a client to accept an application and obviously accept payment. So paying for the policy. So those types of heartburn hopefully don't happen to you going forward. But without further ado, I will allow Carrie Replinger to kind of give a visual of what I just blabbed about and kind of give you a little bit of visual of what we're bringing to the table and some of the tools that are available to everybody on this call.
Yeah, thanks, Greg, and thanks, John. I appreciate you kind of putting this all together for us. Really, yeah. I feel like this really should hopefully get to be a nonstop shop for you, where you can kind of go in one portal and really access a four different products, or actually five different products, and within this one portal, and be done in 10 or 15 minutes and get paid immediately as an agent. The compensation on it's dynamite. You get annualized on it. It's really a nice fit for us as an agent to be able to go in, because we know that every life insurance sales is an emotional sale, and we know the longer that sale takes, the more difficult it is to place at the end of the day. And like Cameron, you were talking about some case where you had five calls. I mean, that's those are difficult to place at the end of the day. And if I can go in here and write a $2 million term for somebody and protect a family in less than 15 minutes and get paid the very next day, it's a good day for everybody. So we really appreciate the opportunity. Greg, did you or Jonah, did you guys want me to go over a quick flyover of HQ, or are we going right into Navigator?
Carrie, I can just,
If you,
sorry, Jonah, if you have.
oh, I was gonna say, if you just want to go over it very briefly, because some of
Okay.
these guys are this is their first time seeing it.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, so usually I'll kind of go high level, and obviously Greg and myself are here. If you guys have any other questions, you want to go into something more detail, I certainly can. Um, Really, I always say HQ comes down to two things. Comes down to tools, it comes down to transparency. It allows an agent to come in here and really double check your policies, right? You check your pending, your paid place, and your submits. And the thing I like about it, I'm in a demo mode, but I'll just show you, is it's got a terrific filtering functionality baked in here to where I can pull up the last week's report, I can pull up year to date, I can pull up by carrier, I can pull up by product type. There's a lot of functionality that's in here. Certainly encourage everybody to go in here and mess around with it a little bit. Let me get this out of the way and I'll show you this filter. Yeah, so here's the filtering functionality. And the neat thing about it too is Jonah can come in here and he can look at his entire agency's production, or he can toggle over. And if he wants to look at just Kerry Rupplinger's production, he can toggle over and pull up a specific agent within that hierarchy. Um, the agency tab, really, I would look at that as a contracting link. So you can come in here as an agent, click on agent directory, and I will show you in 1 second here. Boy, it's taking a little bit. So if I pull up an agent, for instance, I do want to show you this. This is just your basic information. You can change any if you need to. But more importantly, as I tab over on this black bar here, you can see here, This will show you all your resident and non-resident states will import in here from SureLC, and then your writing numbers from the carrier will actually import in here. So really, really important when we talk about these digital products in a few minutes that you have 4 licenses in here, or else you're going to get stonewalled on it. You're going to need SBLI, United Home Life, American Amicable, and LGA, or Legal and Guardian. Not Banner, but Legal and Guardian. Once you have all 4 of those carriers in here, you're basically armed for bear, and you can submit all of our instant issue products. Okay. You'll also see anything that's if your appointments are pending or what have you, you would see those down here. So this is a really good tool. If you come back and you go, gosh, I forgot what my AMAM contract number was, or my MU or whatever, it'll be on here.
One thing I will add, Carrie, to that,
Yeah.
guys, and how many times you have to remember your writing number? You don't have to with the instant issue products. It knows it because it's in system. If it's in system, it's going to auto populate it on every application that you do for the instant issue product. So basically, all you're filling out is your client information. Everything else that you have internally is going to be auto filled from our system onto the application. So it's just, again, is that a big deal? No, but it takes a few steps away that you might otherwise have to do, and you don't ever have to remember your writing number because it'd be housed in our system.
Perfect. If we continue to tab over here, this is just going to take us back to that policy tab where I showed you before, where you've got your pending, your submits, and your place business. But this is a neat tab also. If I tab over here to recruiting, you can see on here, this would be any agents that are underneath this particular agent. We got Charlie Chaplin pulled up, so we've got 2 agents underneath him. And you can see I can tab over to hierarchy. And what that's going to do is it's going to enable me a quick visual of what my hierarchy actually looks like. So, certainly, and this is very conducive for multiple tier hierarchies. So if Jonah's up here and Kerry Replinger's here, and I've got 5 agents underneath me, I could see myself and my 5 agents, but I could not see everything. But Jonah would be able to go in here and see multiple tiers of hierarchies on this system. And it gives you a good visual. And a lot of times when Greg and I are recruiting some big groups, we'll come in here and we'll go, hey, double check this once we get everything contracted, make sure it's copacetic, because inevitably we've got an agent or 2 that's missing, or somebody that's no longer active within that hierarchy that's showing up on here. So it's a good opportunity for us to clean it up. If I continue to tab over to marketing, I'll show you this rather quickly. The marketing tab really is assets that are available for you as an agent. They're free assets. You can come in here, you can pull up customizable pieces, non-customizable pieces, social media post. These are all yours. Have at them. They're all free. Everything we're talking about today, for the most part, is going to be free. But the neat thing too, I can come in here, and if I go, I want to do a mortgage protection campaign, I can come in here and just pull up those specific marketing pieces that are specific for mortgage protection. The last thing I'm going to show you really quick is the carriers tab, because this has been a really popular tab for us with a lot of groups. Because really in the old days, what are you doing? You're having to go over to AMAM's site to submit a business or get information on that policy, or whatever, F&Gs, whatever. You're kind of lobbying in all these different directions. Well, you can come in here and you've got this one-stop portal for all your access to all your carriers. And this is going to give you all the parameters of our digital instant issue products, the LGA, for instance, the SBLI. But I'll show you MOVE, for instance. I've got the carrier website. I've got their toll-free number. Any notes that have occurred within the carrier here recently would be on here. But more importantly, if you get in here and you're going, gosh, I've got a 22-year-old, are they going to qualify for a child's whole life? You can click on this and you're going to get a 1-pager on that particular product. So every product on that portfolio, like Moo is a great example because it's got such a robust portfolio. If you're trying to figure out, hey, what's the best solution for my client on an index universal life, I can click on these and get information on all those products. I can access their quoting software through here. I can even submit an IGO e-app by clicking on this. Some carriers, we even have some training tutorials available on there also. So a lot of information available on this carriers tab. But anyways, I'm going to, Greg, unless you want to bring up anything before I move on, I'm going to jump into the tools.
Yeah, no, we'll get there in a second before you go into the navigator. So, Claudia, to your point, yeah, we're going to hit on how the application process works. This was just a 1,000-foot view, guys. It's more to chew on than you ever want to chew on. So basically, this is kind of your home page that gives you more resources than you ever wanted to have. But it's just, we just wanted to give you a glimpse. You've got carrier information if you need to have it. The thing about products that we have that Carrie's now going to show you on what we call Navigator, which is going to show you where that is. There you go, Carrie. Go ahead and click on that. Where you so you see the navigator. Don't go beyond that right now. But at this particular point, everything in Navigator, the beauty of it from my standpoint, from this old geezer on the right now on the conversation, you don't have to know the products. You don't have to know what face amount goes for which age group. You don't have to know anything about the restrictions of the product. It's in the system. So basically, when you put your client in, it's going to tell you, okay, at this age, they can get a 20-year term or a 15-year term. It's going to walk you through it. It's going to tell you the face amount that they get. You know, if they have to qualify on the final expense, like Cameron had mentioned, it's going to show you from the health information you put in. Well, shoot, your client's highly impaired. The best you can get is graded death benefit. So those types of things, the thing I like about the beauty of Navigator, which you're going to see in about 3 seconds, is you don't have to have that product knowledge. All those tools Carrie just showed you are for products that aren't on our platform, that are not instant issue. There's more to them. So we wanted to have those tools available for you guys because obviously you have a very robust product offering. But at this particular point, we're going to go into Navigator. These are for the exclusive products that are proprietary to us and that are exclusive for the term, final expense, and you're going to see the IUL. But this is something that you don't have to know the product lines. You have to know to put the client data in, and then basically it's going to tell you and help you get the best situation for your customer. So, Carrie, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So, like Greg had mentioned, this blue highlighted tile is just our instant issue platform. Okay, and I want to be real clear with that because a lot of times we have so many quote engines available on our tools tab. We literally have iPipeline here, WinFlex Web down here, a final expense quote engine. The only way you're going to get our instant issue products, done in 15 minutes on all these is off of this platform right here, Navigator. So I just want to make sure that we're clear because we'll have people come on here and they're trying to submit our instant issue products off of the iPipeline. You can't do it. So I'm going to jump in here right now and show you.
So just to clarify, we only use iNavigator.
Yeah, for unless you guys are using, iPipeline for your John Hancocks or your Transamericas or what have you. But
Yeah.
this is just going to be the portal for the instant issue. Absolutely, John.
Yep. And Carrie, the main thing I wanted to hit on is the LG and SBLI term. So the two
Okay.
products that we have with you guys.
Okay, you got it, buddy. You got it. Okay, so let's go right into the journey. So really, when you first come on here, this is going to give you a snapshot of everything you've done. So if Jonah started an application on me right down here, and I came back and said, hey, I got to run the kids to soccer. Can you call me tomorrow night? I can pick up that application right here and then finish it off rather easily. So but I'm going to go in here and we're going to start a new application. So I'm going to click on quote and apply. And I'm going to click quote and apply again. And again, it's going to archive those cases that you ran here recently. We're going to create a new one. I'm going to put somebody in here. This is definitely not my date of birth, but so we're going to have somebody born in. So right here, what Jonah's saying is you can vacillate from term to final expense or whole life right here. And then I will show, yeah, we'll peek behind the curtain in a second after we go through the term journey, and I'll show you the IUL.
Yeah, we're excited about that as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll show it to you. You'll love it, man. It's a great process. So we're going to go with a person born in 97, 500,000, a 20-year term in Arizona. We'll just click on this. this is where the system designed to help get you to the finish line in the most efficient way. You know, and you're not only pre-underwriting as we go along, and I'll show you that, but we're actually underwriting as we go through this. I mean, you've got to think these are fully underwritten products. They're not guaranteed issue, which a lot of people think they are. They're not guaranteed issue, they're instant issue, but they're fully underwritten. So that's a really important component to it. If you're kind of one of these agents that likes to quote everybody Superman rates and then try to sell it at the back end, probably not the right system for you, because everything in here is completely intuitive. And what I like about it is Greg and I both are 30 years in the industry, and we worked with a lot of P&C agents, a lot of financial advisors. And I mean, their head would explode if a client came to them and said, "Oh, I've got bipolar." They would not know what questions to ask, and they would not know how it would affect underwriting. Well, you really don't. Like Greg mentioned, as long as you ask the questions, it'll tell you exactly what to ask. So if I go in here and Greg says he's a diabetic, I'm going to come right in here. Is it type 1? Is it type 2? Is it gestational? What was your last A1C reading? Um, are you taking a prescribed medication? We're going to run a script check. We're going to find out, is it metformin or is it insulin? So everything is completely baked into this journey. And not only is it going to tell me if I click on I'm a diabetic taking metformin and my A1C 7.3, I pipeline, it's not going to show me a super plus rating. It's going to give me a standard table 2 to table 4 or whatever's applicable.
Hey, Kerry, before you advance,
Mhm.
guys, think of it this way. When you're talking to a customer, and so a little bit of something about myself. One thing before I came over to Quilty, one of the teams that I managed was the call center for all of Navy Federal. So Navy Federal sends like 2.5 million emails out about life insurance every 2 weeks, and that would floodgate into a team that I managed. Little things like this is where we learned this technique. It sounds a little silly, but basically, when you tell a client, so when you first start this process, set the table of expectation. This is a fully underwritten product, like Carrie mentioned. Why is that a good thing, though? Why is that a good thing for the client? Well, I'm looking on this call. Half of you guys look like you're freaking played basketball today, so you look in very good shape. Do you really want to go on an instant issue product that lumps you in with the diabetic, that lumps you into a person that hasn't taken care of themselves? Hell no. So what this is, it's a fully underwritten product. It's just done on an immediate process, and it's going to be a start to finish 15-minute process to an approval. However, Mr. and Mrs. Client, let me tell you what's going to happen when we hit apply. Before we start these health questions, in the first 4 seconds, we do MIB, which shows anything on the Information Bureau that if you've been rated up or declined. We do scripts. We know if you have an active prescription currently, whether you use it or not. If it's an active prescription, we know about it. MVR, we know your driving record. And last but not least is dental records. Reason that it is, not because they wanted to know if they got a cleaning, it's to know if you're a chewer or a tobacco user. So that's the first 4 seconds when they hit apply. So when you set the table there for your client, say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, if you're ever going to really want to kick the tires with me, let's talk truthfully about these questions because I can do a better job for you to tell you what rate class you're going to get and what's the best carrier. It takes a little bit out of the client, like, okay, this is cool and this is a good thing because even if I have a few health concerns, it's going to set a proper expectation day one rather than bait and switch. I quoted you preferred plus and now you came back standard. So clients gravitate to it. These questions, hey, insurance is peace of mind. If you're fumbling around, I don't have peace of mind. I don't trust to whom I'm speaking to. Conversely, when I say I'm bipolar and it gives you the questions and I'm giving you the sample answers to put out there, man, this person knows their stuff. That's what leads to not only the sale, but the persistency. Those are the two things that you want to be concerned about for two reasons. One, you want to get the paycheck. Two, you want to keep the paycheck. You don't want to get a chargeback. Those are two minor things that sound silly, but when you set the table of expectation like this, I'm telling you, you'll see it. You'll have the experience with it where the client's like, this person knows what they're doing. Got it. Okay. Now I have faith in what they're doing. Now I'm going to listen more of their recommendations of the product. So sorry, Carrie.
Yeah, no, you're great input, Greg. So So really, the takeaway off of this is, every one of these ailments is going to be completely intuitive. Again, it's going to tell you exactly what questions to ask. Um, Really, this second page, this encompasses, you've got your cancer on here, you got your cardiac. Down here, we've got our family history questions. But again, if I click on any of these, it tells me as an agent exactly what questions to ask. And then this is the last page. So, what's this do to me as an agent? Probably adds what, 4 to 6 more minutes, depending on the severity of the client's health history, to the actual underwriting process. But again, I'm underwriting. I'm going to get an accurate quote back based off of the totality of the client's health history. Um, this last page here all pertains to your motor vehicle report. So you've got your multiple DUIs, a felony, speeding tickets, blah, blah, blah. We're going to get right to the product here. Okay, so right here you can see these are our two products, okay? This is our flagship product. It's been out for, gosh, going on 4 years now. At one point, we were doing $1 million a week on this product with SBLI. It goes up to $1 million, goes up to age 60. It's always an instant issue product. Super, super easy user experience for you. Just a really dynamite product for you to be able to go into. So what do I do next? If my client goes, okay, I want to move forward with SBLI, all we're going to do here is click apply. It's going to take you right into the application. It's going to pre-populate Greg's name and his phone number, his email address, so I don't have those redundancies any longer. And then 15 minutes later, as long as Greg's approved, we're going to have a formal approval on him, and then 1 hour later they're going to email me the actual physical policy. So not only are we going to get approved, we're done, right? So really, really important with that one with SBLI. Now this is our brand new product. It came out in December, I guess going on a year ago. It's with LGA. It goes up to $2 million. It goes up to age 65. And the big difference, if you're kind of wondering, besides the face amount, what's the difference between these two products? Right here, living benefits are baked into this product. Okay, so this product is also convertible, but it's got the living benefits baked into it. Um, you guys were, Jonah, you were talking about, making, in the ease of this system. I think also from a recruiting perspective, this is huge because if you're out there recruiting agents, these are two products that really nobody else has besides Quility, right? We spent millions of dollars to go out to reassurance and actually created these products on our own. And this is one thing I usually like to start every presentation with. We won Insurance Technology Company of the Year last year, and it's strictly because of this platform and these products, okay? Because we went out there and at first everybody wants to give you a product in their portfolio. We're like, heck no, we want an instant issue product that's fully underwritten. So we went out and created these, and they papered them, and now we're continuing to add to this portfolio of products. Like Jonah had mentioned earlier, we have an IUL coming out that's coming out with F&G that's going to go up to $2 million. That to say that there's an excitement in the industry because of this is an underestimate. So it's huge, and I'll show you that in a second. So we've got LGA.
Carrie, could
Go
you
ahead,
do
Greg.
one thing? Just kind of, again, guys, I try to make this thing stupid easy. Can you click it to a 35-year term or something just to show how obvious it is? Because again, hey, which product goes to the 35 and 40-year term? I don't know. You don't need to know. Now this screen, if you go and scroll down a little bit, Carrie, you're going to see that SBLI no longer exists because SBLI doesn't do a 35-year term. They do 30-year, but they don't do 35-year. So again, you can't screw it up. You can't apply to the wrong product or anything of that nature. If it doesn't show up, you don't have it. If you go over $1 million, a lot of times you're going to get on this and say, gosh, which one goes to 2 million? Which one went to 1 million? Who cares? Put it in and it's going to tell you if you go over $1 million, SBLI is going to disappear again. So it's just trying to make it so you guys have enough on your table. You don't need to start memorizing a bunch of product. So at this particular point, just follow the system. This is going to do the recommendations from what you put in, whatever face amount you put in, whatever length of term you put in. It's going to tell you from what you have, this is what you have available. And last but not least, as Carrie had mentioned, the instant issue. If you see the yellow lightning bolt in the middle of the screen there, that's telling you. So if you hover, it says instant issue. Again, not brain surgery, but if you don't log into this tomorrow, you might forget in a week. Just know that that little lightning bolt, if you hover over it, it's going to tell you which products are instant issue. Because when you apply, like Carrie mentioned, it autofills all this information into your application. You're filling in the blanks. It's a pretty short process. You're sending it to your client via email or text, and they can do one button. They can accept it, not DocuSign. They can accept it. When they accept it, it's applied. So it's now in quote unquote underwriting. You don't leave the phone conversation. Talk about the weather for 30 seconds or so. Let the approval come back, and then you can go right into the placement screen. So if this approval comes back, Carrie, maybe if you could just walk through it, just a brief, let's say they came back, let's make it worse. Let's say they came back standard and it was preferred. Can you just show them how they can navigate the face amount and the length of term before they go to the payment screen? Because maybe the client's going to want to redact back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, and great points, Greg. I was going to show them the 35 and the 40, so that was great that you brought that up. Yeah, if you wanted to decrease the face amount, all you have to do, you could either type it in here, or I could go here to this bar and just reduce it that way. And there's a really neat little needs analysis on here also. If you if you ever run into that client that goes, gosh, I don't know how much I need, you can click on this and it'll give you a quick needs analysis. Um, this is where you can increase or decrease the face amount. You can go back to a 20 if you, like Greg had mentioned. And the neat thing about it is you've got some pliability. If I quote Greg a preferred and he comes back a standard, I can quickly at that point, it'll allow me an opportunity to stay within that Greg's budget and reduce that down to a 15-year term to make sure that that premium's copacetic for him before we actually issue the policy. And like Greg had mentioned earlier, this is a really neat point. We have a 35 and even a 40-year term on here. And if you're familiar with laddering, I mean, it's a great concept. I can take a 25-year-old and go, hey, let's write a $2 million term on you. And then when you're 65 years old, you probably don't need $2 million. The kids are gone, your retirement's kicked in, and the house is hopefully paid off. And you maybe need a smaller permanent and you can convert a portion of it. So this is a really neat product to be able to kind of add to your repertoire when you're sitting there talking to a client. So, and we added this RX lookup too. If you're familiar with, you can go in here if I want to try to figure out, what lisinopril, how that's going to affect a policy. I can click on this. I don't even have to type it in correctly. It'll find that policy and tell me how that's going to affect this entire process. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the IUL, Greg, unless you want to talk about anything else here before.
Greg, you're
Muted,
muted.
buddy. Greg, you're muted, bud.
Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, we could take a quick look. But let's before we do, Jonah, is there anything else that you want us to hit upon while we're looking at term? Because that was the primary focus. And again, guys, I don't want to keep you on more than about 10 more minutes because I think there's there's timelines for calls.
Yep.
But just wanted to
Yeah.
touch base with you. What would you guys like us to hit upon?
Appreciate it, Greg. So this is really great product, and transparently, we do not write enough of this. I'm gonna put you guys on the spot here. I had multiple people ask me to ask you guys this, but our biggest pain point with this product is the client getting the email that they have to accept the policy after the policy is written versus just like the other carriers where we place it in force. And so is there any way we could remove that last portion and just have it like once they sign it gets placed in force and good to go?
I might be missing the step there. I don't know if I understand. So you've already sent it out to them, they accepted it, it got approved. You put the payment information in, and they're having trouble
Because
accept it then? I'm sorry.
because the client's having to send it out, like we're having to send it out to them, and then they got to put the payment information in and everything else. Versus, and we're losing clients on that end, we're losing business. So if we could change that to where we put the payment information in, and then all we have to do is just send them the final signature, they send it back, and then boom, it gets placed in force. if we could get that changed on our products, that would be a game changer for us.
Jonah, we can certainly take that feedback. I know that that's been mentioned in the past, that that was an obstacle, and they were very deliberate about not having the agent be able to access because they didn't want the fraudulent type of business where, hey, I'm putting in my bank account instead of or something like that and creating an issue from a fraudulent standpoint. But that's if you guys are if it's something that's deterring business coming your way, we'd love to hear about that, and then we can take it to the powers that be.
For
No,
sure.
it's
Yeah.
great.
And what would be helpful is
Go
just
ahead.
have an option. Like you could have the option of like, hey, send the banking to the client, they can fill it in, or have the option the agent completes the application.
Yeah, no,
So that
I think that's a fair request. Let us go back with that because there's a thing called again, more than you want to know, but GUI actually does a search, checking the bank account to make sure that it has Greg Sabala's name on it or whoever's name. So the fraud has been reduced a little bit in that regard because it does a search of immediately. So to your point, we could put that recommendation in. Funny thing is there's two reasons it was redacted back initially because of some fraud early on in the product. And the other one was most people didn't want to do it. They didn't want to they said it was a hassle to get the bank information from their clients. So agents were saying, because we had our initial launch had it where the agent had to do it. And then we had people complain about that. I think what we need to do is from this correspondence, give agents two options on that payment
yes,
option. So we'll go back. That's beautiful input. And here's the fun thing about it, guys. To a point, we have to approve things with carriers, but this is our stuff. So basically, you have a real chance of us being able to, do this type of input's important because we control those toggles. So we'll work on that.
perfect. Yeah. And especially since you guys added the living benefits on, that's been huge for us. We absolutely love that aspect.
Yeah.
We're big on the living benefits.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's and Jonah, just to give you a heads up, and don't hold us to it, but we're in the process. They've already been filed about adding them to the SBLI product also, and I've heard they're 60 days away from it. But anyways, but soon to have them on both products for you. Okay.
Yep.
perfect. What are the overall underwriting or like differences between the SBLI and LGA product?
That's a great question. There's really not that much. I mean, both of these products, without sounding too, insurance nerdy, go to about a table 2 to table 4. So they'll take a client that's that type 2 diabetic on metformin with a good A1C. They're certainly not going to take a type 1 diabetic. You're going to have to go right into a guaranteed issue or graded type policy for that. Um, the best thing I can suggest, Jonah, because we get a lot of questions pertaining to, hey, will they take this condition versus not take that condition, is just get in the habit of using the intuitive nature of the underwriting. Because it's like Greg had mentioned earlier, it's going to tell you, hey, we'll take this one, but we won't take that one. And the beauty of it for me is in the old days, if I wanted to I wanted to take a shot on Greg. I don't know if he's insurable or not. I'm going to take an application. He gets declined in 3 weeks, and now I have to deal with a declination on his MIB for the rest of the get go. It's going to tell
Yep.
you right up front, hey, don't move forward with it. You're not going to qualify.
So, and to take that
Got it.
one step further, guys and gals, sorry, is, and I know we've really been hammering away on this, so I apologize for it, but like doing the prelim underwriting, and you get like on this screen, it gives you the recommendation of product and rate classification. Spoiler alert, when you hit apply, it's the same system that does the underwriting. So it doesn't go to the carrier. It stays on our system. This is a design with the reinsurance. So what it does is it goes and does all those searches, but from the data it gets, it is what makes the rate classification. So it's not a waste of time for the person to put that, because if they put truthful information, it shouldn't be a surprise. Like, all the stuff that we get from scripts and stuff should match what they said. And it's the same engine that does that. So it's not a wasted motion to get that prelim, because technically speaking, if the client didn't lie and that's what they're going to see, almost 99% of the time you're going to get the same dang offer, because it's the same system that's looking at it. It's just reviewing it actually formally within the data sets. So just keep that in mind and let clients know that you could be an open book to your client about that, because it does help them be more honest. Because like, well, damn, okay, I really want to see what's going on here, and I can do it all in the prelim. If I'm going to get declined, why bother? There's other products that you can go to that could probably help that client that's going to get declined. So it's just it's an easier process.
Perfect. And then the RX look, is that do you guys have I've gone on your website and tried to find it. Is the RX lookup on the top right? Is that a medication knockout list?
No, it kind of is, because if you were on a medication that wouldn't be applicable, it would tell you what type of ramifications it would have on the underwriting process. So there is some knockout information off of that carrier tab I was showing you earlier. If you click on that, it's got the frequently asked, and then it's got some knockout questions on the term products on both of them, Jonah.
Okay. Gotcha. The reason I ask is because I've gone on your website. I may have missed it, but it sounds like you guys don't have. But the reason I ask is like, for example, we'd have a client that they're prescribed, for whatever reason, they're prescribed, their doctor prescribed them carvedil for their high blood pressure. If we know the medication carvedil treats heart failure. And so like those weird one-offs, if
Yeah,
like we could go on there and just search that medication and be able to see if it'll be approved or declined, that would be helpful as well.
gotcha.
And
Yeah,
when you put that medication
go
in
ahead,
there on the
Greg.
RX, it'll be specific to that client. So basically,
Got it.
it'll take it into consideration. To your point, there are a lot of medications, as we know, that are used for two, maybe three different reasons. Um, Good and bad. The beauty of the system is speed, guys. The bad part is its speed. So basically, it doesn't take the time to look at it. It just says you're on X medication. X medication has this type of variable. This is your underwriting class. I mean, there's good and bad to speed because you don't have a live body like a human looking at it saying, "Oh, they're using this for diet control." And there's different meds that do different things. So again, I'm not trying to sugarcoat. There's pluses and minuses when you're talking about speed to issue, and that's something I think sometimes you give up. But other times, again, when you do the RX lookup and you put the medication in, and like I said, you can kind of, because I always do, some of these medications I can't spell, but you get close enough, it tells you is this one, and you put it in there, that, hey, this the client has it. It takes it into consideration and tells you from this medication, this is the rate classification you're still going to get.
Perfect. Understood. Okay. Well, I'm excited to hear about this IUL.
Okay, yeah, let me jump on this, Jonah.
Gabe Anderson's been hyping this up or Gabe Erickson's been hyping this up for a long time.
Uh-oh, you're raising the bar too high on me. Hey, before I do, Jonah, I wanted to make sure you're aware of this. We did add this about a month ago. It's a Learn tab. Basically, what this will do with every one of the carriers except for LGA, which has been that's a whole hornet's nest, is if you click on the Learn tab, it'll show you what happens when you click Apply. It'll walk you through the entire application process. If you're a new agent, you've never submitted an American Amicable or an SBLI case, you can click on this Learn and it'll prepare you before you go into that client meeting. Okay, let's peek behind the curtain here. This is probably going to be, Greg, what, September, when the IUL is going to be officially unveiled?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. So really, we've got the same health questions, right, as the IUL, as the term products, but once you get into the IUL itself, it's really cool. Okay. Okay, so you can see right here, you've got two different options. You've got a simplified and an advanced option. The advanced is going to be, again, without not acting really nerdy, that's going to be going into almost the carrier's F&G site and running it almost similar to what you would off of F&Gs for a fully compliant illustration. But I'm going to show you the simplified variety here. So we've got our rate class in here. You can see on here we have two different options, right? Solve for maximum cash value or solve for protection. So it gives us a really quick, easy outlet when we're sitting on talking to that client. So if I'm going to solve for maximum cash accumulation, all I need to know is what the client's monthly budget is. If it's 500 bucks, and I'm going to go in here, it's going to ask me, do I want to save age? Do I want to show disbursements? You can if you want. You can if you don't. We won't. Man, it is. Maybe it's because,
Demos always go slower.
yeah. Okay, here we go. You can see that's how quickly it is. So right now it solved for us, you know, as a supplemental retirement type play, cash value type play. We've got our cash values on here. We've got our rate class on here. This is the minimum face amount, non-MEC face amount. Here's a monthly premium. Now watch this. I can click on it and apply, right? We can go up to $2 million. It's got living benefits in it. Or if I wanted to see what the illustration looks like, it takes me right to the fully compliant illustration. So, you know, to me, I think the user experience on this is really second to none. It really makes that entire IUL sale just so doggone easy by doing that. And you can see I can go back in there and this is going to allow me to make any adjustments if a client we need to change, you know, their budget's changed or what have you, we can certainly do so. But that's just how easy and powerful I think this system's going to be from an IUL perspective once this new product Quantum's out. And I don't know if anybody noticed it too, but we also added our Pathfinder software, which has been, again, Greg and I've been waiting for that for about 3 years. And this is going to give you an opportunity to have software that's specifically designed for helping you with that IUL sale and comparing it to external and ancillary investments as compared to an IUL. It'll interface with that whole software. Gregory, what did I miss, my friend?
I think you're good. Like I said, I mean, I think we just wanted to throw a lot at you guys. It's been 45 minutes, and we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us first and foremost. But this is just enough to whet your appetite. Dive into this. Again, the initial screen was HQ. If you haven't had a welcome email, you know, probably check with Jonah or even with the Pinnacle or whomever your upline is, you know, directly for the contracting side. Take a look at that. But they, you know, with this, with HQ, it gives you access points to everything. You know, all the knowledge you need. And then all you have to remember is that little Rubik's Cube to the left is where you access everything. So basically that's going to get you to the next piece. And then that goes into Navigator. It's in a big blue blob. So I try to make it as simple as it can be because that's what we're finding with Navigator. We're finding people that used to stumble around with some of the coverages. I'm 30 years in and I don't know what each company does. I don't know what each carrier's underwriting. I kind of have a sense and I've, you know, been around a little bit, but I don't know. So this has been enlightening for me, for our team. Our least experienced person's 15 years in the industry. We use the heck out of this thing. And the reason being is because it sets an expectation. And that's a big part of life insurance and life insurance success. So we're happy. We're really proud of it. Take it out, test it, try to break it. Tell us your input. We are going to take the input of the payment information back right after this call. I'm going to actually speak to one of our primary tech guys and say, hey, can we implement both of them and see what can happen? I love that type of input. So if you guys are seeing a roadblock that is repeatedly out there with something that we have out here, let us know because this is the input from an organization such as yourself that we want to hear from you. So, you know, that we want to make you guys happy, make the experience easier. And heck, life insurance shouldn't be difficult for you or for the clients. And that's what I think you're going to find from the client's perspective, barring the payment information apparently, but that they're going to say, gosh, this was easy. You know, you're making it really hard for them to say no to you at that point. So we're excited. We're here for you. And just want to let you know that we're here to help you out anytime that you guys have any questions, and we can do this type of tutorial anytime you want as well.
Perfect. Yeah, we really appreciate it, Greg. The two biggest things we wanted were living benefits and this IUL. So we got one out of the two. So once we get this IUL, you're going to be seeing a lot more business from us. We're very excited.
We are as well. Thank you so much.
So awesome. All right. Well, God bless everybody. Let's make it a good week.
Thank you, guys. Thanks,
Thank you.
gals, everybody. Appreciate the time.